First contact, an unexpected visitor. The night sky above New Mexico shimmered with countless stars, a celestial tapestry unmarred by light pollution. Dr. Samantha Carter stood outside the Arecibo Observatory, her eyes fixed on the heavens. As the lead astrophysicist on Project SETI-X, she had spent countless nights like this, searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. But tonight felt different. A gentle breeze rustled through her short, graying hair as she took a sip of lukewarm coffee. The radio telescope behind her hummed softly, its massive dish pointed towards a distant star system. Samantha's team had detected an anomalous signal from that region just days ago, and they had been working around the clock to analyze it. As she turned to head back inside, a flash of light caught her eye. At first, she dismissed it as a satellite or a meteor, but then it grew brighter, descending rapidly through the atmosphere. Samantha's heart raced as she realized what she was witnessing, an unscheduled atmospheric entry. Dr. Carter. A voice called from the observatory's entrance. It was her assistant, Ryan Dong, his eyes wide with excitement. "You need to see this." Samantha rushed inside, following Ryan to the main control room. The monitors were alive with activity, displaying readings that defied explanation. The object they had seen was slowing its descent, demonstrating controlled flight that no known human aircraft could achieve. "It's heading straight for us," Ryan said, his voice a mixture of awe and fear. Samantha's mind raced. This was the moment she had both dreamed of and dreaded throughout her entire career. "Contact the military," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "And get me a secure line to the president." As her team scrambled to follow her instructions, Samantha's gaze was drawn to the live feed from the observatory's external cameras. The object, clearly a spacecraft of some kind, was now visible, its sleek, silver hull reflecting the moonlight as it descended towards the empty field adjacent to the facility. Time seemed to slow as the craft touched down, sending up a cloud of dust. For several long moments, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, a door materialized in the smooth surface of the ship. Samantha held her breath as a figure emerged. It was humanoid in shape, but its proportions were slightly off. Longer limbs, a larger head. Its skin had a faint bluish tinge that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. "My God," Ryan whispered beside her. "It's really happening." As if in response to his words, the alien raised a hand in what appeared to be a gesture of peace. Then, to Samantha's astonishment, it spoke in perfect, unaccented English. "People of Earth," the creature said, its voice carried to them through the observatory's external microphones. "I come in peace, seeking your help. My name is Zarvak, and my world is dying." Samantha's scientific mind was already racing, analyzing every detail of the alien's appearance and behavior. But there was something else, an emotion she couldn't quite place. It wasn't fear, as she might have expected. Instead, she felt a profound sense of kinship. "Dr. Carter," one of her team members called out. "The president is on the line." Taking a deep breath, Samantha picked up the secure phone. "Mr. President," she said, her voice calm and controlled. "First contact has been made. The ball's in our court now." As she briefed the president on the situation, Samantha couldn't take her eyes off the monitor showing the alien visitor. Zarvak stood patiently by his craft, occasionally looking up at the stars as if searching for something. "Understood, Dr. Carter," the president's voice crackled through the phone. "A team is being dispatched to your location. Until they arrive, you're our point person. Engage with the alien if possible, but prioritize the safety of your team and any sensitive information." "Yes, sir," Samantha replied, already formulating a plan. As she set down the phone, Ryan looked at her expectantly. "What do we do now?" Samantha squared her shoulders, a determined glint in her eye. "Now," she said, "we make history. Prepare the hazmat suits. We're going to greet our visitor." As her team hurried to comply, Samantha took a moment to center herself. Everything she had worked for, everything humanity had wondered about for centuries, was about to change. The implications were staggering, scientific, philosophical, religious, political. But in this moment, all of that faded into the background. There was an alien standing in a field in New Mexico, asking for humanity's help. And Samantha Carter was damned if she wasn't going to answer that call. Donning her hazmat suit, Samantha led a small team out of the observatory. As they approached Zarak, she could see more details of the alien's appearance. Its large, almond-shaped eyes were a deep, mesmerizing purple. Four-fingered hands ended in what looked like retractable claws. Despite its alien features, there was an unmistakable intelligence and worry in its gaze. Stopping a few meters away, Samantha took a deep breath and spoke. "I am Dr. Samantha Carter of Earth. We welcome you in peace and offer our assistance. Can you tell us more about your situation?" Zarek's eyes seemed to light up with relief. "Dr. Carter, I am grateful for your welcome. My world, Lumina, faces an environmental catastrophe. Our sun is dying, causing rapid climate change that threatens all life on our planet. We have searched the galaxy for a solution, and our studies have led us to believe that Earth possesses unique properties that could help us save our world." As Zarak spoke, Samantha's mind whirled with questions. How had they learned English? What properties of Earth could possibly help with a dying star? But she pushed these thoughts aside for the moment, focusing on the immediate situation. "We'll do what we can to help," Samantha said carefully, aware of the weight of her words. "But we'll need to know more about your technology, your world, and exactly what you're asking of us." Zarak nodded, a gesture surprisingly similar to a human's. "Of course, I'm prepared to share all the information we have, but time is of the essence. Even now, my people suffer." As if to underscore Zarak's words, a series of lights blinked on the hull of the spacecraft. The alien's expression changed, showing what Samantha interpreted as concern. "What is it?" she asked, tensing slightly. "A message from my homeworld," Zarak replied, his voice heavy. "The situation has worsened. We may have less time than we thought." Samantha felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She was no longer just a scientist making a groundbreaking discovery. She was potentially the first link in a chain that could save an entire alien civilization. "Then we'd better get started," she said, gesturing towards the observatory. "Please come inside. We have a lot to discuss." As Zarak followed her towards the facility, Samantha couldn't help but marvel at the surreal nature of the situation. An alien had come to Earth, not to conquer or study, but to ask for help. It was a scenario she had never imagined, yet here she was, living it. The first step towards interstellar cooperation had been taken. Now, it was up to humanity to rise to the challenge. As she led Zarak into the observatory, Samantha felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The future of two worlds now hung in the balance, and the clock was ticking. Little did Samantha know that this was just the beginning. The arrival of Zarak would set in motion a chain of events that would test the limits of human ingenuity, compassion, and courage. The fate of not just Lumina, but Earth itself, would soon be at stake. And in the crucible of this cosmic crisis, humanity would discover strengths it never knew it possessed. As the doors of the observatory closed behind them, Samantha Carter and Zarak stepped into a new chapter of galactic history. The stage was set for an adventure that would redefine humanity's place in the universe. The human element, bridging two worlds. The following days were a whirlwind of activity at the Arecibo Observatory, now transformed into the epicenter of humanity's first extraterrestrial diplomatic mission. Dr. Samantha Carter found herself at the heart of it all, bridging the gap between two vastly different civilizations. As she sat across from Zarak in the hastily repurposed conference room, Samantha marveled at how quickly the surreal had become almost routine. The alien's presence still drew stares from the staff, but the initial shock had given way to a focused determination to understand and assist their cosmic visitor. So, let me get this straight, Samantha said, her brow furrowed in concentration. Your star is entering a premature red giant phase, causing massive climate shifts on Lumina, and you believe Earth's magnetic field technology could be the key to stabilizing your planet's atmosphere. Zarak nodded, his large purple eyes reflecting the holographic display between them. Precisely, Dr. Carter. Our scientists have theorized that a network of devices based on your planet's natural magnetic field could create a protective shield around Lumina, mitigating the effects of our expanding sun. Samantha leaned back, her mind racing. It's a fascinating theory, but we're talking about scaling up our technology to a planetary level. It's never been done before, not even theoretically. Which is why we need your help, Zarak said, a note of urgency in his melodic voice. Your species has shown remarkable adaptability and problem-solving skills. We believe that together we can find a solution. As Samantha opened her mouth to respond, the door burst open. Ryan Zhang, her assistant, rushed in, his face flushed with excitement. Dr. Carter, you need to see this, he exclaimed, thrusting a tablet into her hands. Samantha's eyes widened as she scanned the data on the screen. It was a breakdown of the alloys used in Zarak's spacecraft, showing properties that defied current human metallurgical understanding. This is incredible, she breathed. With materials like these, we could revolutionize our own technology. Zarak, would your people be willing to share this knowledge with us? The alien's expression shifted to what Samantha had come to recognize as a smile. Of course, Dr. Carter. We believe in the mutual exchange of knowledge. Your advancements in magnetic field manipulation for ours in materials science, it seems a fair trade. As the implications of this exchange sank in, Samantha felt a surge of hope. This collaboration could not only save Lumina, but also propel humanity's own technological progress forward by decades, if not centuries. We need to assemble a team, Samantha said, her voice filled with determination. The best minds in physics, engineering, and climatology. And we'll need government support. This is bigger than any one research institution. Ryan nodded eagerly. I'll start making calls. The scientific community is already buzzing with the news of first contact. I'm sure we'll have volunteers lining up around the block. As Ryan hurried out to begin organizing, Samantha turned back to Zarak. There's something I've been meaning to ask you, she said, her tone softening. How did you learn to speak English so perfectly? Zarak's eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement. We've been observing your broadcasts for many of your years, Dr. Carter. Your languages, cultures, and histories fascinate us. It was deemed crucial to communicate effectively when we finally made contact. Samantha chuckled, shaking her head in wonder. All those years we've been searching the stars, and you've been watching our TV shows. There's a certain irony in that. Their moment of levity was interrupted by a commotion outside. Through the window, Samantha could see a convoy of black vehicles pulling up to the observatory. Looks like the government has arrived, she muttered, straightening her lab coat. Ready to meet some more Earthlings, Zarak. The alien stood, smoothing down his shimmering blue tunic. I look forward to it, Dr. Carter. Every interaction helps me understand your species better. As they made their way to greet the new arrivals, Samantha couldn't help but reflect on the extraordinary situation. Here she was, a scientist who had spent her life searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence, now acting as a bridge between two worlds. The responsibility was enormous, but so was the potential for progress. The next few hours were a blur of introductions, explanations, and negotiations. Government officials, military personnel, and a host of scientific advisors crowded into the observatory's largest room, all eager to meet Zarak and hear about the situation firsthand. Samantha found herself translating not just words, but concepts and cultural nuances between the two groups. It was a delicate balance, ensuring that both sides understood each other while also advocating for the scientific cooperation she believed was crucial. As the day wore on, she could see the initial skepticism of many officials giving way to cautious optimism. The potential benefits of this cosmic collaboration was simply too great to ignore. Dr. Carter, the lead government representative, a stern-faced woman named Director Evans, pulled her aside during a brief recess. "Your work here has been commendable. The President has authorized the formation of a special task force to work on this Lumina project. We want you to lead it." Samantha blinked in surprise. "Me? But surely there are more qualified." "You've already established a rapport with our visitor," Evans interrupted, "and your background in astrophysics makes you uniquely suited to understand both the problem and potential solutions. The job is yours if you want it." As Samantha opened her mouth to respond, a sudden commotion erupted across the room. Zarak was hunched over, his body trembling. Before anyone could react, he collapsed to the floor. "Zarak!" Samantha cried, rushing to the alien's side. As she knelt beside him, she could see his skin had taken on a sickly pallor. "What's happening? Are you all right?" The alien's eyes flickered open, filled with pain and urgency. "The connection to my ship," he gasped. "Something's wrong. Dr. Carter, I need to show you." With trembling hands, Zarak pressed a small device into Samantha's palm. As soon as it touched her skin, a holographic display sprang to life, showing a star system Samantha didn't recognize. She watched in horror as one of the planets began to glow an angry red, its atmosphere visibly roiling. "Lumina," Zarak whispered. "It's happening faster than we predicted. We're running out of time." As medical personnel swarmed around them and government officials shouted for explanations, Samantha felt the weight of two worlds settle firmly on her shoulders. The clock was ticking, and the stakes had just gotten exponentially higher. Looking from the hologram to Zarak's pained face, to the chaos erupting around them, Samantha made her decision. "Director Evans," she called out, her voice cutting through the din. "I accept the position, and we need to move fast." In that moment, as humans and alien alike looked to her for direction, Dr. Samantha Carter steeled herself for the challenge ahead. The fate of an alien world hung in the balance, and humanity's first cosmic collaboration was about to be put to the ultimate test. Little did they know, this crisis was just the beginning. As Samantha would soon discover, the threat to Lumina was part of a much larger, more sinister plot, one that would push humanity to its limits and redefine its place in the galaxy. As the hologram flickered ominously above them, the stage was set for a race against time that would span two worlds and test the very limits of both human and alien ingenuity. Crisis on the horizon. A threat emerges. The next few weeks passed in a blur of frenetic activity. The newly formed Lumina Task Force, led by Dr. Samantha Carter, had taken over an entire wing of a top-secret government facility. The cavernous space buzzed with the energy of some of Earth's brightest minds, all working tirelessly to save an alien world. Samantha stood before a massive holographic display, her eyes darting between complex equations and simulations of Lumina's deteriorating atmosphere. Beside her, Zarak had recovered from his earlier collapse, but still looked weaker than when he first arrived. "If we can just stabilize the magnetic field here," Samantha mused, pointing to a swirling vortex of energy in the simulation, "we might be able to deflect enough of your sun's increased radiation to buy us more time." Zarak nodded, his large eyes reflecting the shimmer of the hologram. "Your theories are sound, Dr. Carter, but the implementation, the scale of it is beyond anything my people have ever attempted." As they discussed potential solutions, Ryan Zhang burst into the room, his face pale with shock. "Dr. Carter, Zarak, you need to see this immediately." He quickly pulled up a new display, showing a live feed from one of Earth's deep space monitoring stations. What they saw made Samantha's blood run cold. A massive object, easily the size of a small moon, was moving through the outer reaches of Earth's solar system. Its trajectory was unmistakable. It was headed straight for them. "What in the world is that?" Samantha breathed, her mind racing to comprehend what she was seeing. Zarek's reaction was even more alarming. The alien stumbled back, his skin paling to an ashen blue. "No," he whispered, his voice filled with dread. "They found us. They followed me here." Samantha turned to him, her heart pounding. "Zarak, what are you talking about? Who followed you?" The alien's eyes met hers, filled with a mixture of fear and deep regret. "Dr. Carter, there's something I haven't told you. Something I should have shared from the beginning, but I was afraid you wouldn't help us if you knew the full truth." As Zarak began to explain, Samantha felt the ground shift beneath her feet, metaphorically and almost literally. The crisis they faced was far greater and more complex than they had ever imagined. The disaster on Lumina. It wasn't entirely natural, Zarak confessed. "Our son's premature aging was triggered by an ancient weapon, one we thought was only a myth until it was too late." He went on to describe a galactic conflict that had raged for millennia, fought between advanced civilizations using technology so powerful it could alter the very fabric of space-time. Lumina had been caught in the crossfire, its star artificially aged as a demonstration of power by a ruthless empire known as the Shroud. "We've been fleeing them ever since," Zarak concluded, his voice heavy with the weight of his people's suffering. "Searching for a way to save our world, and for allies strong enough to stand against the Shroud. That's why we came to Earth. Your species' potential, your adaptability and determination. We believed you could help us in ways no one else could." Samantha stood in stunned silence, trying to process this flood of new information. The implications were staggering. Not only was there intelligent life beyond Earth, but there was an interstellar conflict of unimaginable scale raging across the galaxy. "And now," she said slowly, her eyes drawn back to the ominous object on the display, "the Shroud has followed you here. To Earth." Zarak nodded grimly. "I'm so sorry, Dr. Carter. I never meant to bring this danger to your world. If you want me to leave, to draw them away." "No," Samantha interrupted, her voice firm. She surprised herself with the conviction in her tone. "You came to us for help, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're in this together now." She turned to Ryan, who had been listening to the exchange with wide-eyed disbelief. "Contact Director Evans and the Joint Chiefs. We need to brief them on the situation immediately, and get me all the data we have on that object's approach vector and speed." As Ryan hurried to comply, Samantha faced Zarak again. "I need you to tell me everything you know about the Shroud. Their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses, anything that might give us an edge." For the next several hours, Samantha and her team worked tirelessly, processing the flood of new information and trying to formulate a plan. The facility became a hive of activity as military personnel joined the scientists, all working together to prepare Earth's defenses. As dawn broke, Samantha found herself standing alone before the holographic display, studying the approaching Shroud vessel. The enormity of the challenge before them was almost overwhelming. How could Earth, a planet that had barely taken its first steps into space, hope to stand against a civilization capable of weaponizing stars? But as she pondered this, Samantha felt a strange calm settled over her. She thought of all the times throughout history when humanity had faced seemingly insurmountable odds. The countless moments when human ingenuity, courage, and sheer determination had triumphed against all expectations. "Dr. Carter." Zarak's voice broke through her reverie. She turned to see the alien watching her with a mixture of concern and hope. "What are you thinking?" Samantha allowed herself a small, determined smile. "I'm thinking that the Shroud has no idea what they're in for. They may have technology beyond our wildest dreams, but they've never faced anything quite like humanity before." She squared her shoulders, feeling a surge of resolve. "We're going to save Lumina, Zarak, and we're going to show the Shroud that picking a fight with Earth was the biggest mistake they've ever made." As if in response to her words, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. The Shroud vessel had entered the solar system proper, its massive form now visible even to Earth's conventional telescopes. Samantha took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. The greatest challenge in human history was bearing down upon them. But as she looked around at the determined faces of her team, human and alien alike, she felt a glimmer of hope. The battle for Earth, for Lumina, and for the very future of the galaxy was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the cosmos what it was made of. As Samantha began issuing orders, coordinating Earth's first line of defense against an alien threat, she couldn't help but feel a sense of irony. Humanity had long wondered if it was alone in the universe. Now, not only had they made first contact, but they were about to engage in their first interstellar war. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of Earth and Lumina, but humanity's place in the grand cosmic order. The shroud was coming, but Earth would not go quietly into the night. The stage was set for a battle that would echo across the stars. Unlikely allies, humans and aliens unite. The Situation Room hummed with tension as world leaders gathered via secure video links, their faces grim on the array of screens lining the walls. Dr. Samantha Carter stood at the center, flanked by Zarak and Director Evans, as she laid out the dire situation facing Earth. "Ladies and gentlemen," Samantha began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "we are facing an unprecedented threat. The alien vessel approaching Earth belongs to an advanced civilization known as the Shroud. They possess technology capable of manipulating stars and have already demonstrated their willingness to use it destructively." Murmurs of disbelief and fear rippled through the assembled leaders. Samantha pressed on, "However, we are not without hope. Thanks to the information provided by our ally, Zarak, and the combined efforts of our global scientific community, we've developed a plan of action." As Samantha outlined their strategy, a daring combination of Earth's magnetic field technology and luminant energy manipulation techniques, she could see the initial skepticism in the leader's eyes giving way to cautious hope. "This is our moment," Samantha concluded, her voice rising with conviction. "Humanity has always thrived in the face of adversity. Today, we have the opportunity to prove that we are not just citizens of Earth, but worthy members of a galactic community. The Shroud may think us primitive, but we're about to show them what humans are truly capable of." As the meeting concluded and the world's militaries mobilized, Samantha turned to find Zarak watching her with an expression of awe. "Dr. Carter," the alien said softly, "I have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations across the stars, but I have never seen a species rally with such speed and determination. You give me hope for Lumina and for the galaxy." Samantha managed a tight smile. "Let's just hope it's enough." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Around the globe, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to modify Earth's existing satellite network, transforming it into a makeshift planetary defense grid. Military forces were repositioned, and civilian populations were prepared for potential evacuation scenarios. At the heart of it all was the Lumina Task Force, now expanded into a full-fledged command center. Samantha found herself at the nexus of a global effort, coordinating teams across continents and disciplines. As the Shroud vessel entered the inner solar system, tension reached a fever pitch. Earth's newly assembled defense fleet, a hodgepodge of retrofitted satellites and hastily constructed spacecraft, took up position in high orbit. "This is it," Samantha breathed, watching the massive alien ship loom larger on their screens. "All units, prepare to engage on my mark." But before she could give the order, something unexpected happened. The Shroud vessel suddenly halted its approach, hanging motionless just beyond the orbit of Mars. "What are they doing?" Ryan asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. As if in answer, a transmission crackled through their communications system. A face appeared on the main screen, vaguely humanoid, but with gray, almost translucent skin and eyes that seemed to swirl with galaxies. "People of Earth," the alien's voice resonated, somehow both melodious and deeply unsettling. "I am Sarith, emissary of the Shroud. We have come to claim what is ours, the fugitive Zarak and the secrets of Lumina. Surrender them to us and your world will be spared. Resist and face annihilation." A heavy silence fell over the command center. All eyes turned to Samantha and Zarak. Samantha stepped forward, her jaw set with determination. "I am Dr. Samantha Carter of Earth. We will not be surrendering anyone or anything. Zarak and the people of Lumina are under our protection. If you want them, you'll have to go through us." Zarak's expression remained impassive, but there was a hint of surprise in those cosmic eyes. "You would risk everything for an alien race you barely know. Fascinating, but foolish. You cannot hope to stand against the might of the Shroud." "Maybe not alone," Samantha countered, a plan forming in her mind. "But we're not alone, are we? Zarak, you mentioned other civilizations resisting the Shroud. Can we contact them?" Zarak's eyes widened with realization. Yes, we can. Our long-range communicators should be able to reach them." As Zarak hurried to establish contact, Samantha turned back to the screen. "You hear that, Zarak? Earth may be new to the galactic stage, but we're quick learners, and we know the value of allies." Over the next hour, as the Shroud vessel loomed ominously in the distance, a miracle unfolded. Signals came in from across the galaxy. Civilizations that had long suffered under the Shroud's tyranny, now emboldened by Earth's defiance. Promises of support flooded in, along with crucial tactical information about the Shroud's weaknesses. Samantha watched in awe as the galactic political landscape shifted before her eyes. Earth, in its first act on the cosmic stage, had become a rallying point for a resistance that had long simmered in silence. As the Allied fleet began to assemble, a motley array of vessels from a dozen different species, Samantha turned to her team, her eyes blazing with determination. "This is it," she declared. "The moment that defines not just our species, but our place in the universe. We didn't ask for this fight, but by God, we're going to finish it." She looked around at the faces of her team, human and alien alike, united in purpose and resolve. "Today, we fight not just for Earth or for Lumina, but for every world that has suffered under the Shroud's oppression. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As the orders went out and Earth's makeshift fleet moved into position alongside their new allies, Samantha felt a surge of pride and determination. The odds were still stacked against them, but if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was beating the odds. The battle for Earth, for Lumina, and for the future of the galaxy was about to begin, and humanity was ready to make its stand. As the combined fleet faced off against the massive Shroud vessel, Samantha couldn't help but marvel at the situation. In a matter of weeks, humanity had gone from wondering if they were alone in the universe to leading an interstellar alliance against a cosmic threat. The next few hours would determine the fate of not just Earth, but countless worlds across the galaxy. As Samantha gave the order to engage, she silently prayed that humanity's renowned ingenuity and determination would be enough to turn the tide. The battle for the stars had begun, and Earth was at the forefront. The universe was about to learn just what humans were capable of when pushed to their limits. The plan came together in a flurry of activity. Using a combination of Earth's magnetic field technology and luminant energy manipulation techniques, they prepared a special probe, one that would appear to the Shroud as a surrender beacon, but in reality contained a virus designed to reverse their star-killing weapon. "I should be the one to deliver it," Zarak insisted as they made the final preparations. "This is my fight, my responsibility." Samantha shook her head firmly. "No, Zarak. You're too valuable. Your knowledge of Shroud technology is our best hope if this fails. It has to be me." Before anyone could object further, Samantha was suited up and boarding a small, stealthy craft. As she prepared to launch, she took one last look at the team she had come to see as family over these intense weeks. "Whatever happens," she said, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut, "remember this. Earth stood tall when the galaxy needed us. We didn't back down, didn't surrender. Whatever the outcome, I'm proud of what we've accomplished here." With those words, Samantha launched her craft, streaking towards the massive Shroud vessel. The next few minutes were a blur of evasive maneuvers and heart-pounding close calls as she navigated through the chaos of the battle. Finally, she reached her target, a docking port on the underside of the shroud ship. As she had hoped, they took the bait, drawing her craft in with a tractor beam. The moment her ship touched down, Samantha sprang into action. She had mere minutes before the shroud realized this wasn't a genuine surrender. Racing through alien corridors, she found the central control room just as alarms began to blare. With trembling hands, Samantha connected the probe to the shroud's systems. Immediately, the ship's interior lit up with a web of energy, pulsing with power drawn from Earth's magnetic field. Shroud warriors burst into the room, their otherworldly weapons trained on Samantha. But it was too late. The virus was already working its way through their systems, rewriting the very core of their star-killing technology. As Samantha raised her hands in surrender, a blinding light filled the ship. For a moment, she feared she had failed, that this was the end. But then she realized the light wasn't destructive, it was transformative. The shroud vessel shuddered, its very structure seeming to dissolve and reform, and in the center of it all stood Sareth, the shroud emissary, his cosmic eyes wide with shock and something else. Understanding, remorse. What have you done? Sareth gasped, his voice no longer menacing but filled with wonder. Samantha stood tall, facing the alien being without fear. We've shown you another way. Your weapon doesn't have to destroy. It can create, heal, restore. As if to illustrate her words, the view screens around them lit up with images from across the galaxy. Stars that had been damaged by the shroud's weapon were rejuvenating, their lifespans extended by millennia. Planets once thought doomed were flourishing anew. Sareth fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the sight. All this time, we thought we were bringing order to chaos, but we were the chaos. As the realization of what had happened spread through the shroud ranks, the battle outside came to a stuttering halt. One by one, shroud ships stood down, their crews as shocked and transformed as their leaders. Samantha's comm crackled to life, filled with the cheers and cries of joy from the Allied fleet. They had done it. Against all odds, humanity had not only saved Earth, but had changed the course of galactic history. As she was escorted back to her ship, now treated with reverence rather than hostility, Samantha felt a profound sense of awe. Humanity had taken its first steps onto the galactic stage, and those steps had shaken the very foundations of the cosmos. The battle was over, but Samantha knew this was just the beginning. A new chapter in human history had begun, one that would see Earth reach for the stars not with fear or aggression, but with hope, curiosity, and the unshakable determination that had saved them all. As her ship docked with the command station, Samantha allowed herself a small smile. Whatever challenges the future held, she knew one thing for certain: humanity was ready to face them head-on. The final countdown, Earth's fate in the balance. The vastness of space erupted into a dazzling display of light and energy as the Allied fleet engaged the shroud vessel. Earth's hastily assembled defenses, bolstered by the advanced technology of their new alien allies, clashed against the seemingly impenetrable shields of the massive ship. From the command center, Dr. Samantha Carter watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and trepidation. Holographic displays showed the movements of hundreds of ships, each one a testament to the unprecedented alliance that had formed in a matter of hours. "Concentrate fire on Sector 7, Samantha ordered, her voice carrying across the bustling command center. That's where Zarak said their main power conduits should be. As if in response to her words, a series of explosions blossomed across the surface of the shroud vessel. For a moment, hope surged through the room. But the victory was short-lived. The shroud ship seemed to ripple, its surface shifting like liquid metal, and the damage simply melted away. Impossible, Zarak breathed, his alien features contorted with disbelief. They've improved their regenerative capabilities far beyond what we anticipated. Samantha gritted her teeth, her mind racing. They needed a new strategy and fast. Earth's defenses were holding, but barely. The sheer firepower of the shroud vessel was overwhelming, and it was only a matter of time before their lines broke. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the facility. Ryan's voice cut through the chaos. "Dr. Carter, we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the shroud ship. It's aimed at Earth." Samantha's blood ran cold. This was it. The shroud was preparing to use their star-killing weapon on Earth's sun. If they succeeded, it would mean the end of not just the battle, but all life on the planet. "All ships, focus your fire on these coordinates," Samantha shouted, highlighting a specific point on the shroud vessel. "We have to disrupt that energy buildup." The Allied fleet responded immediately, concentrating their attack on the designated area. The space around the shroud ship lit up with a dazzling array of weapons fire, each blast representing the desperate hope of a different world. But it wasn't enough. The energy readings continued to climb, and Samantha could see the grim reality settling in on the faces around her. They were out of time, out of options. In that moment of despair, an idea struck her. A desperate, possibly suicidal plan, but one that just might work. "Zarak," she said, turning to the alien, "you said the shroud's weapon works by accelerating a star's aging process, right?" Zarak nodded, confusion evident in his large eyes. "Yes, but I don't see how." "What if we could reverse it?" Samantha interrupted, her words coming fast as the plan formed in her mind. "Use their own technology against them." Understanding dawned on Zarek's face. It's possible, in theory, but we'd need direct access to their systems and a power source capable of. "We have the power source," Samantha said, gesturing to the displays showing Earth's magnetic field. "And as for access," she paused, the weight of what she was about to propose settling on her shoulders. "We'll give them a Trojan horse they can't resist." A new dawn, humanity's place in the cosmos. The weeks following the battle with the Shroud were a whirlwind of activity, as Earth grappled with its new reality as a recognized player on the galactic stage. Dr. Samantha Carter found herself at the center of it all, hailed as a hero not just on Earth, but across dozens of alien worlds. As she stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, a gathering of representatives from all the allied species, Samantha couldn't help but marvel at how far humanity had come in such a short time. "Dr. Carter," the Luminon representative began, his voice filled with gratitude, "your actions have not only saved countless worlds, but have ushered in a new era of peace and cooperation. How can we ever repay Earth for its service?" Samantha smiled, her gaze sweeping across the assembled aliens, beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors, united in their newfound hope for the future. "But Earth doesn't seek repayment," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the grand chamber. "What we seek is partnership. We've taken our first steps into a larger universe, and we have so much to learn, but we also have much to offer." She gestured to the holographic display hovering above them, showing the modified shroud technology now being used to heal damaged planets and stars across the galaxy. "This is just the beginning," Samantha continued. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to find innovative solutions to seemingly impossible problems. We may be newcomers to the galactic community, but we're eager to contribute." As murmurs of approval rippled through the assembly, Zareth, the former Shroud emissary, stepped forward. His once menacing presence now radiated a sense of humility and purpose. "The people once known as the Shroud owe a debt we can never fully repay," he said, his cosmic eyes meeting Samantha's. "But we pledge ourselves to the cause of healing the damage we have done. With the guidance of Earth and our new allies, we hope to transform our technology fully from a force of destruction to one of creation and renewal." The council erupted into applause, a cacophony of alien sounds that nonetheless conveyed a universal message of hope and unity. As the noise died down, the council's head speaker, a towering crystalline being, addressed the assembly. "It is decided then. Earth will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. Dr. Carter, as Earth's representative, do you accept this position on behalf of your people?" Samantha felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. This was more than just a personal achievement, it was a turning point for all of humanity. "On behalf of Earth, I accept," she said, her voice steady and clear. "We are honored to join this community of worlds, and we look forward to working together to build a brighter future for all our peoples." The chamber filled once more with applause and cheers. As the formal proceedings concluded, Samantha found herself surrounded by a diverse group of avian diplomats, all eager to speak with Earth's representative. Amidst the excited chatter, she felt a gentle touch on her arm. Turning, she found Zarak, his large eyes shimmering with emotion. "Dr. Carter, Samantha," he said softly, "I cannot express how grateful my people are. Thanks to you, Lumina will thrive again. But more than that, you've given hope to countless worlds. You've changed the very course of galactic history." Samantha smiled, feeling a lump form in her throat. "We did it together, Zarak. All of us. This is just the beginning of what we can accomplish when we work as one." As the celebration continued around them, Samantha's mind drifted to the future. She thought of the scientific advancements that would come from this new era of cooperation, the cultural exchanges that would broaden humanity's horizons, the new frontiers that would open up as Earth reached further into the stars. But with these exciting prospects came new responsibilities. Humanity would need to navigate complex interstellar politics, help maintain the fragile peace they had helped forge, and face whatever new challenges the universe might throw their way. Months later, as Samantha stood on the observation deck of Earth's first faster-than-light spaceship, watching her home planet shrink in the distance, she felt a profound sense of both excitement and responsibility. "Ready for our first official diplomatic mission, Dr. Carter?" Ryan asked, now head chief of staff in Earth's new Department of Galactic Affairs. Samantha nodded, a determined smile on her face. "Ready as we'll ever be. The universe is waiting, and it's time for humanity to take its place among the stars." As the ship engaged its FTL drive, streaking off towards distant worlds, Samantha couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. In the face of unimaginable odds, humanity had not only survived, but had emerged as a beacon of hope for the galaxy. The road ahead would not be easy. There would be new challenges, new threats, and difficult decisions to make. But Samantha was confident that the same spirit that had carried them through their first cosmic crisis would see them through whatever lay ahead. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, not through conquest or intimidation, but through ingenuity, compassion, and an unbreakable determination to forge a better future. As Earth's first ambassadors ventured out into the cosmic ocean, they carried with them the hopes and dreams of their entire species. The stars had once seemed cold and distant. Now they beckoned with the promise of new discoveries, new allies, and new adventures. Humanity's next great journey was just beginning, and the entire universe was waiting to see what they would do next. As the ship disappeared into the vastness of space, Earth continued its orbit, a small blue marble in the cosmic expanse. But now it was more than just a planet. It was a symbol of hope, a catalyst for change, and the home of a species that had proven itself worthy of the stars. The universe would never be the same, and neither would humanity. Together, they stepped into a new era, one filled with endless possibilities and the promise of a brighter tomorrow for all sentient beings across the cosmos.